Cool. Hey everybody, I'm Keith. I used to teach here. I'm starting a teaching video series. This is like our test little experiment pilot episode. I'm really glad you're here. These are juniors?
Yeah.
Cool, you guys should know what you're doing at this point. Awesome. We have an awesome artist with us. This is Jeff Plankenhorn, otherwise known as Plank. We're here working with beautiful Rupert Neve Designs and SE gear that was brought in. We've got the Shelford channel over here that we're using on the vocal with the SE. Did Rupert have designed the tube stuff in this mic?
Yeah,
That's a Rupert Neve mic. Okay. So we've got a Rupert Neve Design microphone in collaboration with SE. It's a beautiful $3,000 tube vocal microphone running through a Shelford channel with EQ and compression. We've got SE 4400 condenser mics with us. We're at the Fire Station Studios in San Marcos. And we're learning how to record acoustic guitar and vocals at the same time while minimizing bleed and maintaining phase coherence. I made a lot of mistakes in my early days that I wish I hadn't made, and over 20 years I figured out how to not do them. So my goal is to teach you guys and everyone recording at home. This is why I have a little home system set up in a big studio with a big console in the other room, is I want to teach people how to do these techniques in a home recording environment. I got some really great training in big studios over my 20 years of doing this, and a lot of people just don't have access to that anymore. So I'm trying to help out. What are the three most important things about capturing a sound? Name one. Okay, fair enough. A little bit more detail, anybody? You?
Direction of where the mics are.
Nope. What's the first most important thing about getting a good recording?
Good musician.
Bam. The artist and the performance. You got a hint. That's okay. The artist and the performance. What's the second most important thing? The instrument. What's your name?
Braulio.
Okay, spell that.
You can call me Red.
Red? Red. Okay, I like you, Red. That's cool. The instrument. What's the third most important thing?
The mic.
Almost. It's a good guess. Before the microphone. What else could change the sound? The room that they're playing in. If any of those three things are wrong, you're probably not going to get a good sound. Will a great mic running through a great pre on a vintage piece of tape perfectly calibrated through a Neve 1073 vintage preamp with a U47, is that going to make a bad musician that has a bad performance sound good? No. So remember that. A lot of people start reaching for mics and start, trying to do things before they get those three things right. So we have a great artist with a great instrument. I'm listening to the room. Play a little of what we're going to record. Okay. Great, thank you. So I don't hear anything, like sometimes I hear stuff kicking up off the floor that I don't want to hear. And you notice I listened close. Why did I do that? Why?
Because you have closed mics?
Because that's where the microphones are. These are our internal microphones, right? So when we listen and move our head around, that's what the mic's going to hear. So you listen with your ear for distance and axis. So for instance, I had him play, and I got really up close. And I marked this spot with my ear because it was my favorite. And he immediately said, wow, you just instinctively found the sweet spot. So I instilled confidence in him to make him play a better performance by using my ears to listen to where I wanted to put the mic. The other reason is I have this microphone in figure 8. Why?
So you can capture the room as well as the...
That's a good guess, and it's not stupid, but it's not right. Why? What? Boom. Figure 8 picks up from the front, and it picks up from the back. It has an extreme rejection null point all along the side. So if you flip a mic in figure 8, this is one of the biggest things I wish I knew when I was recording guitar vocals a long time ago. A lot of times you see a vocal mic and then a guitar mic right here, like a pencil condenser pointed down. You will hear phasiness. You will get phase problems. If you flip a mic in figure 8 and get the null point at the vocal, there will be barely any vocal on this mic. It's magic. It's a magic trick. Use figure 8 to your advantage. Now, to what you said, Nate, right? You said to pick up some more of the room. That's a good idea because it does pick up from the back. What if there was too much room? What if I soloed that mic and it was too roomy? But I wanted the rejection. What would I do?
You could phase it out. You can compress it?
Kill the backside. Kill the reflections coming at the back end, right? The name of this series is Recording with Intention. What I'm trying to get you guys to do is really think about why you're making every move you're making and set yourself up for success. I spent 3 years with one of the world's best record mixers named Michael Brower in New York City, and we worked on plenty of famous people's albums. I spent 3 years only working in the mix stage after going to school here and learning from Bobby. So it was really great because I heard one of the world's best mixers dial in great sounds that had already been recorded. So when I left that job and got to where I was producing, engineering, and mixing records, I really wanted to hear what I wanted to hear as a mixer when I was putting up microphones and tracking. So I EQ and compress on the way in and very intentionally get mics. I choose the right mic, put it in the right spot, pick the right compressor, do everything I can to get it as close as possible to what I would want as a mixer, because it makes it sound really good in the headphones, which results in what? A better performance. It makes my job as a mixer really easy. It gets rid of the turd polishing. You're not fixing stuff. You pull up the fader. I record with my faders flat. They're like a pretty little chorus line. Flat, no EQ on the mix side. Everything I do goes on the way into tape, or to hard drive, or whatever you want to call it. I still say to tape. And I love, one of my favorite things to do is turning the Pro Tools screen off. I love to record without my eyes. Even if I use it to set levels, a lot of times I'll just turn the computer screen off and just use these. Because when you're on tape, it's really incredible how much you don't realize how much you use your eyes. But when the screen goes away, it's all ears. And that's really cool. But so one of the two biggest things I can teach you today is use your ear as a microphone and use rejection patterns. Use your pickup patterns. The other thing that I taught earlier that you'll see in this video when it's done is how to pick a condenser versus a ribbon versus a dynamic. Condenser mics are what I like to call high-res cameras. They get a lot of clarity and detail, especially on low-level sources. They pick up all that stuff. They're like really high-res cameras. The problem with condensers is when you have something really harsh and really loud, like a strumming thing with a pick, it can overload condensers pretty quickly. It sounds they don't handle really, really high-end harsh stuff. They kind of crap out. In fact, you can even distort, it's called cap distortion. You can distort the capsule by moving it too much. And you won't see any red lights anywhere, but you'll hear distortion on it. That's when you reach for either a dynamic, which can handle more SPL. This is why you see dynamic microphones all over drum kits. It's because you can beat the crap out of something and it can take it. And ribbon mics also have a way of taming the harsh high end. So use that knowledge to enhance your intention. Also, ribbon mics are 99% wet pickup pattern. Figure 8, which means they have that extreme rejection point. So if you have a harsh source and you're recording vocals and guitar live, I would immediately reach for a ribbon and see how it sounds and use the null point to your advantage. So I've already set up mics before you guys got here, but I picked this spot. The null point is pointed at his vocal where he's going to be singing. Got that where I wanted it. I found a nice spot over here, also rejecting his vocal, and I listened to it and I really like where it ended up. But always just move your head around, pay attention to distance and axis, because what your ear hears is what the microphone's going to hear. So when you put the right mic in the right spot and then go in the control room and pull up the fader or go over to the station and put on the headphones, you should have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get. And you're not flying blind. Does that make sense? The Shelford channel over here sounds amazing. I'm using the pre. I'm using a bit of the high pass filter. Not much. I turn knobs with my eyes closed. I don't use my eyes, I use my ears. With everything, take it too far, make it compress too hard, and then back off. Find the sweet spot. Just like with reverb. Make it too wet, adjust the tail, adjust the pre-delay, then dial it back down. So go too far with EQ. EQ it too much. Make the Q too narrow. Sweep it around. Back off with everything. So I did that with the high pass filter, so it cuts a little bit of the lows out. Then I reached for the compressor, and I got it to where it was compressing about 6 dB on the really loud stuff. This compressor is amazing because it has built-in parallel compression, so it has a blend knob. So you can have either all compressed signal, no compressed signal, or a blend anywhere in between. So again, I closed my eyes and backed off the blend until it was solid and compressed, but still open with some of the natural sound coming through. This gets you to put the fader at 0 and leave it. It'll get loud, it'll get soft, it just stays. It's really amazing. It's a big mix trick to send it to a compressor and return it on another channel so that you have the open raw channel with some compressed stuff underneath it. This does it on one fader on the way in. So thank you, Rupert Neve. There's a texture knob on here, and I just A/B'd it. It's got red and blue and a max and minimum amount. Same thing, I picked red with it all the way up and then dialed it back until I missed it and then turned it back up until it hit the sweet spot. And then I added a little bit of EQ, a little bit of high end. And it sounds killer. And there's going to be very little stuff to do on the mix stage. So I get to hear this. We put up a pair of ribbons as a room, and I didn't finish that. Is this the other one of those, Colin?
Yes.
Great. So these are active ribbons. What does active mean? It takes phantom. Why do you have to be extra careful with ribbons? If they're fragile, and if they're passive and you send it phantom, what happens? You've destroyed your ribbon microphone. So if you have a vintage RCA 44, $4,000 Elvis singing to it mic, and you're not paying attention, you plug it into a channel that has phantom power, you just blew someone's $4,000 of vintage history. Always check phantom power when you're working with ribbons. Even with active ribbons that take phantom power, before you plug them in or unplug them, phantom is off. Never plug a microphone in or out with phantom power on. Cool, much better. All right. I'm rolling whenever you're ready, man.
All right. Raised up drinking from a dirty well, tasted like wine you never can tell. Mama told me good was good enough. Born to a world of black heart love. Black heart love, black heart love. Mind in a vein full of bad blood, black heart love. Well, I shy away from a stranger's touch. Always had trouble with lust and trust. Well, if I choose to let you in, might fly away like paper on the wind. High time we decide. I know we can't survive on black heart love, black heart love. When good is good enough, black heart love, black heart love, black heart love. Come on, like 100-year flood, black heart love. You don't know me 'cause you know my name. From the look in your eyes, we're one and the same. Ease my mind when the going's tough, and you fill me up with black heart love. Black heart love, black heart love. Mind in a vein full of bad blood, black heart love. Black heart love, black heart love. When good is good enough, black heart love. Come on, like 100-year flood, black heart love.
Yeah, man. That's great. A round of applause, please. So let's listen to a little bit of this. Here's the Here's the mic on the guitar while he's singing that's right in front of him. So this is the guitar mic. There should be very little vocal on this. So there's a little bit. He's singing loud.
This world so slippery. Well, I need to
Here's that other spot that I set up, also in figure 8, because I was hearing some high end that I really wanted, and it worked out. Do you hear the high end on that? Instead of the other mic. So there's the body, right? And the two of them together are this. And they worked out really nicely in phase too, so I kind of got lucky there. Let's listen to the vocal running through the Shelford.
Yeah, 'cause you.
So figure 8 really rejecting that guitar, right?
Yeah, 'cause you got this grip on me.
That sounds mixed and flat. You know, put a little ambience on it or whatever in the mix. That sounds really great. And that is a big part of that compression scheme with the blend knob. You've got the Portico 2 in there, also Rupert Neve Designs, that has the blend knob on it. I'll tell you my vocal secret right now. The pre on the Portico is excellent. I also dig an API pre on a vocal. It's really upfront and solid. Go into the line input of the Neve compressor and turn the attack and release to ultra fast, the fastest possible. Get it to compress about 6 dB and then turn the blend to about 80%. Go out of that into an 1176 with a slow attack and a slow release. So the Neve is getting the really quick stuff, but there's a blend like we just did, and then it goes out of that into a slow 1176. So it lets all that transient stuff come through and then gently kind of surfs on the back end, and it does that 1176 presence thing. And man, I've had vocals go from whisper quiet to screaming loud, and the fader just sticks at 0, and it's just amazing at mix time. So that's my favorite vocal secret right there. We got that same effect here without the 1176 going on. I had a Bloomline pair of these SE ribbon mics up. Let's hear what they sound like because I haven't gotten to hear them yet. Cool.
Would you take the truth from me?
So a ribbon sound on the room.
I'll show you.
Another really cool trick to do with room mics is use the nudge function and nudge by 10 milliseconds. You can make like a little pre-delay and you can keep the intimacy of the close mics and then just take the room back a little bit. It's really fun. It's just like adding a pre-delay on a reverb box, except it's real microphones in a room. So I hear so we're recording flat except for the vocal. I always EQ and compress when I'm like, in a studio scenario. But again, the intention here is to teach techniques for phase coherence and mitigation of bleed for home recording environment stuff. Cool. Well, man, it's been a long day. It's been a good one. Thank you, Plank.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you, Rupert Neve Designs and Tristan Rhodes of Rupert Neve Designs. Thank you, SE. Thank you, Cliff, for being the boom operator. Thank you, Maggie Duvall, for running camera. Thank you, all my rotating camera members over here. Thank you, Fire Station Studios. Did I leave anyone out? All right, class dismissed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.